the history of medieval England, armor, swords, castles, and survival. When people think of medieval England, they imagine knights in shining armor, massive stone castles, and swords clashing on the battlefield. But medieval England was more than just epic battles. It was a time of powerful kings, dangerous weapons, incredible armor innovations, and everyday people fighting just to survive. In this video, we're diving into the history of medieval England, focusing on medieval armor, medieval swords, castle building, and what life was really like for peasants during this brutal time period. What was medieval England? Medieval England lasted roughly from 1066, after the Norman conquest, to around 1485, when the Middle Ages ended. This era was dominated by feudalism, a system where land meant power. Kings owned the land, nobles ruled over it, knights protected it, and peasants worked it. War was common, and survival often depended on how well you could defend yourself or your castle. Medieval swords, the weapon of power. Swords were the most iconic weapons in medieval England. Early medieval swords were single-handed, straight, and double-edged. They were designed for slashing rather than stabbing. As armor improved, swords evolved too. By the late Middle Ages, knights used long swords, which could be held with two hands for more power and control. These swords were designed to strike weak points in armor, such as joints and visors. Swords weren't just weapons, they were symbols of status. A knight's sword showed their rank, wealth, and loyalty to their lord. Armor innovations in medieval England. Early medieval armor was simple. Most warriors wore chainmail, made of thousands of interlocking iron rings. Chainmail was flexible and effective against slashing attacks, but it was heavy and expensive. As weapons became stronger, armor evolved. By the 14th century, knights began wearing plate armor. This type of armor used solid steel plates to protect the body from sword strikes and arrows. One major innovation was the full suit of plate armor, which covered the knight from head to toe. Despite how it looks, plate armor was surprisingly mobile. Trained knights could run, mount horses, and fight effectively while wearing it. Helmets and shields. Helmets also improved over time. Early helmets were open-faced, but later designs like the Great Helm and Bassinet provided full head protection. Shields changed too. Early shields were large and kite-shaped, but later shields became smaller as armor improved. Knights relied more on steel than wood for protection. Castle building in medieval England. Castles were the backbone of medieval defense. After 1066, the Normans built thousands of modern bailey castles, made from wood and earth. Later, these were replaced with stone castles, which were stronger and harder to destroy. Medieval castles featured thick walls, towers, drawbridges, and moats. Innovations like arrow slits, portcullises, and concentric walls made castles nearly impossible to capture. Castles weren't just military bases. They were homes, courts, and symbols of power. How peasants survived in medieval England. While knights wore armor and lived in castles, peasants lived very different lives. Most peasants were farmers who worked the land from sunrise to sunset. They lived in small wooden houses, ate simple food like bread and vegetables, and paid heavy taxes to their lord. Life was hard, and famine and disease were constant threats. Despite this, peasants were skilled survivors. They shared resources, relied on seasonal farming, and used basic tools to protect themselves. Without peasants, medieval England could not function.